if you have collective protection, is it still mandatory to wear a safety harness? This is a question that comes up, which is, I'm working on the second floor of a building and I have collective protection in place, meaning there are guardrails installed on the building and all the reservations or openings in the slab are closed off. So is it still necessary to wear a harness, or is the requirement to wear a safety harness on that floor mandatory? Now let's answer this question, but in a technical way. So I'm going to refer to the hierarchy of control, and we'll see what it says. As we know, when we want to implement control measures for a certain risk, we follow the hierarchy of control. That means we start with elimination, substitution, engineering controls, and administrative controls, then with documentation control, and only then do we move to PPE. So when we're talking about a situation that involves collective protection, we're actually talking about the third level, meaning we haven't done elimination, we haven't done substitution, we've implemented engineering controls. When we installed the collective protection, which is that guardrail we put on the sides of that floor. So we applied collective protection, so we used engineering control. So at this level, if we don't manage this level properly, we might be able to eliminate everything below it. So technically, we no longer need to do anything below that level. The risk is controlled on the basis that this control is permanent over time. It's not just controlled at a specific moment, and then after some time passes, it's no longer controlled. So here, in our case, we're talking about having implemented collective protection, which means we closed off those openings and we installed guardrails. So in this case, there's no need for anything more than that. If I add something extra on top, it's just an additional measure I'm taking to further control that risk on the basis that maybe there are some things that I didn't pay attention to. But if we look at it from a purely technical perspective, I did the engineering control. That's it. It's done. My risk is under control. I'm done in this situation. Because in this case, we consider that the requirement for safety harnesses is included in the PPE. At the PPE level, which is the last thing we resort to. In this case, we're talking about individual protection. If you use collective protection, you control the safety of many people at once. On the other hand, if you use individual protection, you narrow the scope of protection and make it dependent on the people themselves. So will that person actually wear the harness or not? So you've implemented a type of protection that is active. It depends on the act or action of the person, whether he wears the harness or not, whether he fastens it or not. On top of that, do I even have a place to fasten it or not? So these are things that are technical. But once I implement that collective protection, that's where my control measures end. Unless, if, for example, I'm in a situation where my internal procedures or those of the company I work with require that even if I do the engineering, I can add some other control measures. So in this case, if it's required by a procedure or a standard of